Howdy, howdy. Welcome to the Humans Aren't Real podcast. I'm Wolf Vision, and with me is Frylock. Today's episode is Top 10 International Movies. Fry, what is your number 10?
So it was kind of hard for me to put this in order,
Ah!
but I think I got a pretty good order. I do want
Okay.
to change one as I'm looking at it. I don't know why that one's up so high. So let me move this one. Okay, my number 10, which is actually a really good movie, and it does deserve to be lower on this list, but these other ones are like really, really, really good. But District B13,
Okay.
it's the first movie I've ever seen with parkour involved. And it's actually not cheesy parkour. Like it's actually like really cool stunts and stuff. And it's definitely maybe sometimes you're like, come on, you didn't need to go through all that, but it's awesome. And it's oh crap. I think it's French. I think it's a French movie.
Yeah, I think it is.
And it's like it's basically like there's these bad neighborhoods and the government has just closed them off. They have built a wall around them, so they are just like chaos in their own little districts. And one of the districts gets a hold of a nuclear bomb, and so the government sends this like cop in to try to go get it, but he has to convince a guy that lives there to go in with him because without that guy, they'll never get around the town, like the city. So it's this
Mm-hmm.
cop taking this guy that grew up there and knows the place to go find this nuclear bomb. And I mean, not only are the stunts cool, and it's like the guys playing the main characters are actually doing all these stunts. Like I think they are actually like parkour guys, and how they ended up in a movie, I don't know. But like they're not bad actors or anything like that by any means. But they're actually in all these stunts and they're actually doing all the stuff. It's an awesome action movie, and the story's pretty good. Like it's a little cheesy, but ultimately it's super entertaining. It kind of like, I hate to compare it to John Wick because it's not like John Wick, but like
Yeah, it's not.
no, but kind of like how you think about like unusual chaotic action scenes. We think about John Wick now, but back when this movie was made, when I thought about like chaotic crazy action scenes, this was on my radar of like, this is one of the most like awesome, the way it's just choreographed, the way it's those guys in the movie actually doing the stunts, like it just, for its time, I would compare it, it's the John Wick of its time without like the story. It's a totally different story, but action wise, it's the John Wick of its time.
Mm, I don't know if I'd go that far. It was a pretty good movie. I like the
Name
stunts in
name
it.
better action. Name better action in a movie at
John
that time.
Wick.
What was it? No, at that time. That was like early 2000, maybe 2005-ish.
Uh, was one of the Matrix released around there?
Matrix was late 90s. So it
Oh,
was
the
before that.
second or third one? The third one was around there then, right?
I don't know, but does the second and third one really count?
Eh,
They
yeah.
both had like
And
one cool action scene.
I like the action probably better than uh, the just all the parkour.
Ah, but it
It
they did it
is a
so well.
neat thing in it, but it's not something that it's just
I
for what it
disagree.
was. It was good. I
I
didn't.
disagree.
That's okay. You can disagree all you want.
I thought it was phenomenal. It was tons of fun. Tons of fun.
It is a good movie. It is a good movie, but
I think great is the word you're looking for.
good. It was a good one.
All
There was a
right.
parkour scene in one of the James Bond movies that was pretty good.
Which James Bond? Like which actor?
The newest one.
The Daniel Craig, is that his name?
Daniel Craig, yeah. They
Yeah, I
had
have no.
a like bomb maker that he was trying to chase through like construction areas, and it was very much parkour. Like the guy that was running away was like slipping through stuff and climbing over things, and then James Bond is just like runs into the thing. He'll like crash into the door. It was more of a blunt. It wasn't as finessed as the other guy running.
Oh
It
yeah.
was it was pretty funny. I'm gonna get you to watch one of these.
I don't know why, man, but especially the Daniel Craig ones, I just have absolute. If it's not Sean Connery,
No, I get
I
it,
don't want to
but
watch it.
these new ones, there's some of them that are pretty good.
I mean,
Like
I know
Casino Royale is amazing.
it's just so hard for me to actually sit and watch. I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. We'll see.
Yeah,
What?
I'll get
What?
you to watch one.
Maybe. What's your number 10?
It would be Train to Busan. I know I keep bringing it up. I
It is
know I've said it
phenomenal.
in just about every top 10 I've said, but
I mean,
but the movie is so good that it's worth repeating again.
in all fairness, if there is a list that deserves to be on, it is this list.
Yes.
I mean, it's
It's I don't know how many times I could say stuff about it, but like without just going through the whole movie. But the fighting, the setup, the build up, the tension, the arguments of like the survivors just trying to survive, and then
yeah.
crap hits the fan and it just keeps like escalating on how bad it's getting.
And the
It's
way they
so
do it
good.
is pretty slick.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's like what happens when they get to a station and it's like, oh jeez. And it's like
Yeah.
so much worse.
Yeah. It's it's definitely kind of a different take on most zombie movies that I think someone like me, I consider myself to be like a classic zombie fan. So it's a different take than what I am usually really into, but they did
Hmm.
it in such a good way. It was done so well that it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like yeah, this movie is it's pretty awesome.
Yes. It makes me happy thinking about how good it is. Watching it though, like it is a depressing but movie because it's so like visceral on how like people are trying to survive and it just oh it's a good movie. I enjoy it. The ending is the ending. I'm not going to really talk about it, but
And they,
it
they do play
is
the family dynamic a little bit too, which helps it.
yes, it does of like
Yeah.
the survivability of when a zombie apocalypse happens because it's like very early on after
Yeah.
people start turning. But fantastic movie. What is your number 9?
Number 9, I wanted it higher, but it was kind of hard to push some of these other ones up higher, so I put it up there. It's a oh crap, I think it's French horror film called High Tension. Sorry, I lost it. Called High Tension. It's a horror movie, and if I'm not mistaken, they basically just English dubbed it and then released it in theaters in America
Mm-hmm.
in like the early 2000s, but I think like it originally came out in what did I say? I think it was French. Ah crap. But anyways, so Like originally they just dubbed it. They didn't like do a American remake where they reshoot it with famous American stars. They literally just dubbed it in English, put it to theaters, and I had actually seen it years before it came to theaters in America. So when they like basically redid it and I saw that it was just a dubbed version, they didn't actually remake it, like I couldn't have been happier. But
Mm-hmm.
this movie it's a really weird horror film. It's got some crazy stuff in it that's either gonna like really blow your mind and you're gonna be like, that's really crazy, or you're gonna completely hate it. But it's essentially these two girls, they're college students, they're like in college together, and they end up going to one of their parents' homes, which is like out in the secluded farmland.
Mm-hmm.
And middle of the night, some guy comes in and just basically does a bunch of stuff and kidnaps one of the girls. And stuff just hits the fan from there. Like, I don't want to get too specific in what's going on, but let's just say he breaks into the house and he ends up kidnapping one of the girls and he does some other stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the ending of this movie has got like one of those Shyamalan type twists, but like like I said, you'll either let things go because it's such a cool kind of not before seen thing and way that they did it, or you're gonna be like, no, absolutely not. This and that. That was stupid. I hate it. Da, 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 da. So you're not gonna think. You're not gonna come out and be like, oh, it's okay. It's all right. No, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. But it's an amazing, amazing movie, and I do believe the French actors are actually like celebrities in uh like Italy or what France. Where's France? Where's France? Man, I'm an idiot. Um, like Paris or whatever.
Okay.
But it's an awesome movie. I lost my mind when it came out in theaters in America. I bought it up, and I think it is definitely super underrated horror movie in general. But if anybody were to ask me, like, hey, what's a good movie, like a good international movie, foreign movie, non American movie, I don't want this Hollywood crap. If they want their mind screwed with, that's one of the ones I always give them. High Tension.
High tension. All right.
You got to be a horror
Uh,
movie fan, though. If you're not a horror movie fan, you might not be into it. It's a bit of a slasher in a way.
yeah. Okay. Um, my number nine is Along with the Gods. So there's a one and a two.
Oh, crap. I got a couple sequels on here. Maybe I might have to switch it up a little bit. I haven't heard of that one. What is it called? One with the Gods?
Along with the Gods.
Along with the Gods.
I believe it's Korean, and it follows a firefighter, and it's like he has the chance to become like a paragon, I believe is the title. And it's like it reviews his life, and then he has like caseworkers that like fight for him to go through these trials. And he was like a firefighter that died abruptly, and so he gets chosen to try and like ascend. And then it's like going through these trials in his life, and it's like not what you're expecting for like a simple like, okay, let's review your life, and then it's going back and it's like running into like these other ghosts that are fighting him or like holding him responsible for things. And it's just an awesome trip. And then it goes into the second one.
So, well, I think I saw there's three of them or four of
There's
them.
only two.
What about along? Oh, that looks like a TV show, but maybe it's not affiliated. Okay.
Uh, don't know, but
The Two
there's
Worlds
a
in the Last 49 Days, right?
yes. Those are the two movies.
Okay. Yep. I got you. It looks kind of interesting. It sounds a little weird. I've never
Oh, it's
even heard of these.
fantastic. Yeah, it's awesome. It has martial arts, it has special effects, it has ghosts, it has fighting, it has uh like judges of his like character if he meets the requirement or he meets the threshold, then he passes and goes to the next one. It fantastic movie. It's awesome. I watched both of them. Uh the first one follows this firefighter. The second one follows a different character, so it's not even the same person. But
Nice.
the guardians or the agents or whatever they are, they're the same.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Hmm.
they're like leading another person to try and become a paragon.
Yeah, I have never. Oh, crap. I have never heard of this one.
Yeah, it's really good.
There's two of them. They're fairly new, too. 2017,
Um,
2018.
yeah, yeah.
They actually do look good, just like playing a little. I was reading it on IMDb and it's playing like a little trailer here. Okay. What's that on? Is that on Netflix? Can I watch that?
I'm not sure what's on.
I'll
I
have to
bought
see.
them when they were on sale on Vudu, which is now Fandango or something. They were
I
on
don't know.
sale for like $20. It was our is it 20? It's like 5 or 10, something like that. They were good deals.
Yeah. I mean, 5, $10. You can't go wrong.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, you can watch it on YouTube for free with ads right now.
Oh crap, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that they do that.
there you go.
All right. We're gonna go
Yep.
on for my number nine.
What is your
8. Is it 8 or
number
9? We're
8?
on 8. 8, that's what I
8.
thought. All right. So 8 is a movie I haven't seen in quite some time, but I do remember a lot about what it is, but I don't want to give out too much. But the description of it says there are 666 portals that connect this world to the other side. These are concealed from all human these are concealed from all human beings. Somewhere in Japan exists the 444th portal in the Forest of Resurrection. So it's basically this guy that is looking for this portal, and it is a Japanese like samurai sword with guns. And the ending has a pretty good twist. I think most people will like it. Some people might not, but I think most people will be on board with it. And it's an awesome movie. From what I recall, the fight scenes they're awesome. I don't think it's like packed full. Like it's definitely not like a super action movie. It does kind of lean a little bit more on some other factors. So it's not, to my recollection, like this insane like kung fu movie or nothing like that. But I remember the action scenes being pretty cool, and it's got a pretty cool little interesting twist that you may or may not see coming. I mean,
What was the name of the movie?
Versus
Versus.
is from 2000. I actually do own that one. That's one of the few movies that I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go buy this." I don't even remember where I saw it, to be honest. I think maybe somebody I knew had said something about it, or somebody maybe recommended it. I mean, there was like early mid 2000s, I watched almost nonstop everything non Hollywood. Like I just found a couple little gems and was like, "Oh man, they're making movies like this." And yeah, a couple of them are on this list, of course. Versus is one of them. I was kind of like, "Man, that movie is fun."
Yeah, that looks like 90s type of movie.
It does have a very like 90s vibe. And like the acting is very very anime, I guess, like very over the top and just overly expressive. And like you can't watch this one dubbed. Like the actors, their voices contribute to like the character. So if you're watching this dubbed, it's going to be a little different. I suggest just deal with subtitles. Like if you want to watch it dubbed later on, that's fine, but you got to at least watch it once in its true form because the actors like they really changing their voice just doesn't fit. Like their voices are like perfect with their character and kind of the way you're like, yeah, that's the way I would expect that individual to sound. And it's very weird. And just the way they over the top reactions to stuff, it's just it adds to it. It's phenomenal. Maybe a little cheesy here and there, but I mean, it's
That's 90s.
I'm saying it's totally a preference thing. Like I don't think it's cheesy. I love it. I just ate it up. I was just like dying with it. I loved it. But some people might think it's a little too much. Some
Versus
people might think it's a little cheesy. That's all right. There might be some of that in there.
has zombies. That looks interesting.
I was trying not to give out too much, but I guess technically kind of you could say that.
Yeah, it's on the trailer. There's zombies.
I mean, I f- yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like it's like they are, but it's just such a different type of movie. It's
They're
because I
more undead than zombie.
well, yeah, I don't even remember. I just remember I know there's like zombies in it almost,
Hmm.
but it's like it was never a zombie movie.
Yeah.
And like I would never have been like, "Oh yeah, there's zombies in it." But I can get somebody being like, "Oh, those are zombies," but it's like I don't know, they just didn't feel like that. I'm pretty sure it just was there was just something different about that movie. It wasn't a zombie movie to me. It was the end. The ending kind of draws all the focus away from all that other stuff. It's hard to explain without spoiling it essentially.
Right. Right. Okay.
It I think you'll be into it, man. I think you should check it
I
out.
I probably am.
And remember, I own that one.
Oh, well, I'll have to see if I can find it somewhere then.
Yeah, I don't even know where you'd find it to be honest.
Ah,
Maybe you have to end up buying it on Amazon.
yeah, or eBay or something.
Yeah, maybe.
That might be worth it.
For a couple bucks it definitely would be. I'd recommend.
Okay. Uh, my number 8 is RRR.
Oh, I remember we talked about it, but I have not seen that.
Oh, it's so good. Uh, it's about two brothers that it's like they get separated when they were young, and one of them is like goes into the military and is dedicated and works hard, and it's a kind of like he's climbing up the ranks in the special police force. And then the other one is more of like a wild jungle type guy. And he's out there fighting like tigers and all kinds of crazy animals out in the forest. And the whole issue is that they kidnap, I guess it's like the British invade India, and they kidnap a girl and kill her mother on the way out. So it sets up this whole like the brothers are gonna go and try and rescue her, but it's like uh over some time. And it is a wild story. There's a lot of fighting and interesting twists and character development. And of course, it's a Bollywood movie, so there's dancing.
I was gonna say, like, was this on Netflix? I feel like I saw this on Netflix.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, that might be where I was thinking about something, another movie that we were talking about.
Yeah. Don't worry, that's probably on my list. But
the the Matrix, basically.
uh kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, so it has a lot to kind of get from it for character development, and the story is fun. There's uh, an overarching like chapters in the movie, so it's like this chapter, then it's this chapter, then it's this chapter. So there's kind of like groupings of story plots moving along, and it's just fantastic movie, well made.
it looks very different. Definitely the little trailer here looks like I'm expecting a little bit more action, but I'm hoping they just held back for the trailer. Oh, the tree falling on that car is kind of fun.
There's a lot of action.
So yeah, like at first I wasn't getting like special effects vibes, but here and there, yeah. Hopefully they're just holding back in the trailer. It looks interesting.
Yeah, they probably are, but yeah, there's a lot of special effects. Like him trying to outrun a tiger in the jungle, or whatever it was. I can't remember
Yeah.
if it was like a puma, a lion, a tiger. It was something chasing him. I can't remember what it was, but he's just like trying to like outmaneuver it. He's basically parkouring through the jungle.
It looks interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Hopefully it's still on Netflix.
I think so. I think that's who released it. Hopefully, here was Netflix.
I'm saying, yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it on Netflix for sure. Like the more I'm seeing it, I'm like, I think I considered watching that movie, but I ended up watching something else.
Oh, well, you should come back to it. It's pretty good. What is your number seven?
All right, so this is what I was talking about earlier. I kind of wasn't really thinking about it. I do have one. I guess it's okay because they are sequels, but the sequel's so different. I think it's fair to kind of go for it. But my number seven, I've heard it said many different ways. I've heard wreck. I've heard record. I say REC. I don't know why. That's just what I've always called it. It is basically, do you remember the movie Quarantine?
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially the movie that Quarantine is based on. So I believe it's like Brazilian or Crap. I used to know. I don't remember now. If I start guessing, I'm gonna sound like an idiot. But it's basically this reporter is following around like a EMT, like firefighters, I think it is. And
Hmm.
they get called to this building, and like when they go in the building, there's like these people that are like kind of losing it, almost zombie-esque,
Okay.
and they're like attacking people, and they're trying to figure out, turns out there's some sort of quarantine in the building. And
Oh, very nice.
it's a news crew with the fire department. They're doing like a story on the fire department. So it's basically like the events of that happening from like the media perspective. And they're just, the guy's just recording it, and you just kind of see everything happening. And there's a couple, I think the original one, the one I'm talking about, REC, record, I think is what most people call it, or rec. I'm sorry. I think most people call it rec. It's the original one, or I'm sorry, the remake is very good to the original one. It does it justice. It's almost shot for shot to the extent that it should be. Like some stuff's not going to be exactly the same, but it feels like the same movie. They did a very good job as like an American remake. They didn't destroy this one. But
Hmm.
it's just essentially the story that plays out with this quote unquote infection because they quarantine the building. Um, Hence the American name quarantine. But this is so much better. But technically, I've got the second one as my number 6, and I will justify why. The second one, it is basically like stuff has hit the fan. They've lost control of the building. So next thing you know, they're sending in a SWAT team and a supposed uh, medical officer to assess like the viral infection. And so it's like a totally different type of movie. Like the first one's kind of like a found footage, or like, yeah, found footage type POV, first person type of thing where it's just people with a camera.
Hmm.
This next one has got that same kind of feel to it because they're using like body cams and stuff, but it's more so like a cop action SWAT team type movie with this like medical infection involved. And when they start to slowly unwrap it, they really are kind of two different movies. It is a sequel, but they're totally two different types of movies
Right.
that you can love one and maybe not like the second one as much. But I think the second one, there's just a big spoiler that, you know, would explain everything that I'm saying. It would actually make sense. But there's something in the second one that it's one of those love it or hate it. You're either going to be like, that's really creative and I really like the idea what they're going with, or
Hmm.
you're going to think it's just complete garbage and you're going to hate every second of it, and you're going to be like, like the first one was definitely way better. At least the first one didn't end like that. But
Okay.
say I wasn't really thinking about it, but I do have another one kind of similar to that. But that was my technically 7
Okay.
REC, and then I'll say REC 2 after I get to my 6th one, and then we'll move on real quick.
Was that your sixth one?
REC is my 7. REC 2 is my number 6.
Oh, okay. So you just
Yeah.
did one and two separately.
Yeah, because you've really got to watch them both. And they're really totally different movies, even though it kind of follows the same story. It makes sense if you watch them.
Yeah.
It's really hard to explain without giving away key things that will make it. It's just not worth watching if I spoiled it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, very nice. Look forward to watching it one day.
Oh, we will.
And number 7, for mine is Shaolin Soccer.
Heard of it, but I have not seen it.
Oh my goodness, we have got to watch this one. Uh, it is if you take down like the underdog story for soccer. It's some guy that's like down on his luck. He has these Shaolin brothers, and each of them has a different ability. It kind of reminds me of that old like story of, oh, this guy did this, and now I'm gonna have to execute him tomorrow. We're gonna drown him, and then he can't be drowned. Oh, tomorrow we're gonna hang him, and then he can't be hanged. Oh, we're gonna stab him, and he can't be stabbed. So it kind of reminded me of that story. I can't remember it, but the movie has each of these Shaolin brothers of his has a different kind of like skill set or ability. And he's like, "Hey, we can make some money. Let's go and play soccer. Come on." And they're like, "Nope." But he's like, "Hey, listen, I know I've come up with some bad ideas before, and some of them are so adamant about not helping him that they're like, listen, your ideas are horrible. You can't come here anymore. I can't stand you." And he's just getting all depressed and stuff. He's like, "Well, if you change your mind, come to this roof." And of course, they change their mind and they join them and play. But it's it's such a good story arc of an underdog coming back when they find like their ability again. Because it's like they had all these abilities when they were younger, but now they're a lot older. They're like conform to society, and they're like working in a grocery store, or they're working making business calls and working cleanup in a karaoke bar. So it's like they're not doing their full potential type thing, but
How do
they
they make
want
money off
something
the
more.
soccer?
Oh, for like winning tournaments. They're like, "Oh, we'll
Oh, like okay.
make you rich if you win, or even if you participate." And he's like, "Yeah," because he was like the main character. He was collecting cans for a living. He was collecting trash.
Okay.
He was a recycler.
Yeah. So I've heard about it. I've heard about it a lot. Couldn't give you a really great reason why I hadn't watched it. I feel like I owned it at one point in time. I don't know if it's one of those that got lost, but because it's the era that I watched the 2000 2005. It was definitely one I think I had at one point, just never got to watching it for whatever reason. I think the soccer aspect kind of shut me down every time, and I'm like, do I really want to watch a movie about soccer?
Yes, yes, you do.
Yeah, apparently it's not just about soccer. I probably should have watched it.
Oh, so good. That's another one we'll have to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely put it on the list.
I got it on it. All right. What is your number 6?
My number 6 is REC2. What's your number 5?
You mean my number 6?
Yes. Yeah, my fault. I was looking at my numbers. I got confused. What's your number 6?
Mine is Kung Fu Hustle.
Now, that's the one that is like the one that was a spoof that was like actual like kung fu movie that they put like the thumb one. What was that called? Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah, that's what I said. Kung Fu Hustle.
That's the one with the thumbs, right? The little thumb character guy.
No.
Which one is that with the stupid cow thing you're talking about? Okay, I know which one now. You're gonna have to let me pull it up.
So this one is another kind of like underdog thing of they have people with hidden talents, and they live in this like cheap apartment complex. And
Okay,
the
yep.
main character is kind of like a low-level street thug. At least he wants to be, with his buddy. And they go and try to like join this gang. I think it's called the Axe Gang, and they want to join them so they could become rich and popular and wealthy and all this. And they're like, okay, you got to go kill somebody. And he's like, okay. So they're gonna go and try and kill somebody, but it doesn't work out for them very well. Uh, they run into a group of people of just like martial arts experts and abilities, and it just keeps escalating. There's just different levels to this apartment complex of how many like masters and different uh, talents they have. So there's like one with spear ability talents. There's one with like uh, fist fighting ability. There's one that's like great at maneuvering. Uh, but it doesn't just stop it there because you have these supermasters that are like overpowered people, and then you have these street thugs that are like, oh crud, we got to get someone just as good, so they go and find somebody that's like even better, and it's just like they keep one upping each other and how much or how strong they are in their fighting. So good, so good. And I heard that they're going to be working on a second one soon. I'm so excited.
That I've actually seen this. Like
Good.
I don't remember a ton of it, but I do remember like the apartment complex, the fight with like the old lady and the old
Yeah.
guy.
Yep.
Like I do remember all that fighting and stuff. Like that stuck out in my memory. Like that was awesome. Like that was a really good movie.
It is.
And I
It's
always
amazing.
I get it confused with they made another movie. It was the one where it was like an old kung fu movie that they or like they filmed their own stuff, but they put the audio of a kung fu movie that existed in it or something like that. So like the story was like I don't think it was like 100% directly from the same movie, but I remember some story like that like it was them just messing with something that kind of already existed. It was the whole thing with they did the cheesy Matrix bullet time with the cow. Was it that wasn't Kung Fu. I always confused the name
Oh.
with Kung Fu Hustle. I always thought that was Kung Fu Hustle. And I could never remember what this one was called. But I
Uh.
can't remember what the other one was called. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. That was so stupid.
It was
Uh.
yeah, it was pretty dumb, but it was funny.
It's like Kung Pao Chicken or something like that.
I feel like yeah, I keep wanting to say Kung Fury, but I know it's not Kung Fury because that's awesome.
Yeah. It's
You've
like.
seen Kung Fury, right?
I don't know.
Like the 30-minute YouTube video.
No,
Oh,
I have not.
you're getting a link. You're getting a
Oh,
link.
jeez.
You're gonna have to watch. It's actually it was on Netflix at one time. Might be on Netflix.
Hmm.
It's like a cheesy 80s action movie. Just done so far over the top that it's ridiculously hilarious. I think you'll like it. You'll enjoy it if you haven't seen it.
We'll see.
I think you should. It's only 30 minutes, man. What's 30 minutes? You know what I mean?
That's true. So, what is your number five?
Number 5 is a movie we've recently watched, Time Crimes.
Oh, okay.
And I do believe it was on a couple of my other lists as well. At least one of them, I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, essentially, It's a time travel movie. This guy sees some crazy events, and then you kind of watch them play out. And the way they do it is phenomenal. I love that movie. I think it's one of the better time travel movies. You know, Back to the Future is always got to be up there, but
Oh yeah.
when it comes to your unknown time travel, you got Time Crimes and you got Primer. But Time Crimes is just a phenomenal movie, and the way the story just plays out is awesome.
Well, there's a lot of good time traveling stuff.
There is, but I think this is one of my favorites in the way the story's told and the way they kind of unravel everything to you. And
Yeah.
there's one big aspect of it that they kind of do, which I won't spoil, but you know what it is. I'll tell
Hmm.
you at some point in time. But I think that's kind of what makes it special. Kind of made it be a little bit above some of the other ones. Like, I mean, Project Almanac was a lot of fun, but still, like, that was like a big budget Michael Bay type movie. Like, it wasn't what I thought I would get from him, but this is like a little low budget kind of film that was just kind of thrown together when these low budget movies can pull off time travel and pull it off well, which this movie does phenomenally in my opinion. I loved it.
Very nice. Yeah, it was a different type of movie. It was interesting how they had it play out with the time travel stuff.
Yeah, definitely should check it out if you like time travel.
Yep. My number 5 is The Legend of the Drunken Master, Jackie Chan.
I was gonna say it's Jackie Chan, ain't it?
Yep. It's the second one of that series. I haven't seen the first one. It's definitely hard to get. But the second one, this one, I watched so many times. It's a great series of him fighting and doing the whole martial arts thing. And when he does the drunken master technique, it's entertaining. And it's Jackie Chan doing Jackie Chan stuff. Amazing
Yeah.
movie. There isn't really much more to. If you watch the trailer and you see it, you're gonna go, okay, yeah, I want to watch it.
I watched a lot of Jackie Chan, mainly in the '90s, like Rumble in the Bronx.
Yep.
What was the other big one that I watched a lot of his?
Shang,
Who Am I?
Shanghai Noon, Shanghai
I
Night.
wasn't big on those ones,
Oh,
but
they're funny.
First Strike, Drunken Master 2, I remember that one. Rumble in the Bronx, I think, is one of my favorite.
Yep. The
But you're
Foreigner.
talking, I don't know if I've seen that one,
It's a
but
new
you're
one.
talking,
I think it's on Netflix.
oh, I haven't watched any of his new stuff. It's been a while. Mostly his like '90s stuff is a lot of the stuff I've seen, but you're talking about the '78 one. You're talking about real early stuff.
Yeah, yeah. This one's really, really when he was a lot younger.
Yeah, it's possible I might have seen bits and pieces of it, but I've definitely not actually seen the entire movie. I'll have to check.
Oh.
Does it have like all his outtakes and stuff at the end?
Uh, yes.
See, that's one of the things I loved about his movies. He did his own stunts and he put in his screw ups. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for
Like the
sure. It
one,
was great.
I think there was the one where he sprained his ankle and they actually used the shot. I think it was
Yeah.
Rumble in the Bronx. Because I think that was the reason why I love that one so much. Because I remember, like, I actually learned that, and you go back and you watch it. If you pay attention, you can see, like, he actually broke his ankle, and they had to
Yeah, his
do a bunch of other
cast
shots.
foot.
Well, like, he had to, like, no, you actually see it break. This isn't after it, like, you can see it break, and then you can see a scene later on where he's got, like, the sock on his cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, but his fight scenes are always just just above and beyond. I'll have to check this one out. I don't know if I've seen it or not.
You definitely should. It's a good one. What is your number 4?
Okay, so number 4 and number 3 kind of fall in the same category as my REC, but I'll just say number 4 is a movie called Night Watch. It's
Okay.
German, I believe. Have you seen Wanted,
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie?
Yeah.
So the director that made that movie, these Night Watch is the first movie of a series of movies that he made that kind of got him that job. So it's like a fantasy horror set in Moscow. And it's basically like the day watch and the night watch. And it's like they police each other. So you kind of look at it as like good and evil.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about this one before.
Yeah. And they like they basically have certain rules that they have to all kind of abide by. And
Yeah.
if one side breaks a rule, then the other side comes in. It's like they're kind of like police in a way. They
Yeah.
investigate it and then determine what the judgment is. And I will say my number 4 is Night Watch. My number 3 is the sequel, Day Watch. But again, they are two very different movies,
Yeah.
but they do focus around the same story. And a good way to kind of show that they are two different movies, I didn't know the first one existed. I actually watched Day Watch, the sequel. I watched that first. And
Oh, okay.
it's a phenomenal movie on its own. You do not need there are some backstory that you are kind of like, wait a minute, did I miss something? But like it's such a good movie and the way it's shot, there's just some crazy scenes and they have these weird abilities and just the way they portray a lot of stuff is just visually phenomenal. And if you've seen Wanted, you got the bullet curving and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got a similar vibe. Like that's definitely kind of the shots he did with that is kind of his vibe, but he does so much stuff that's just so much better in Night Watch and Day Watch. And like I said, they are two separate stories, but they really are one giant story. You can enjoy them separately.
Yeah. I've been interested in that one, but I just never took the time to watch them.
I even like his other American movie, like something about darkness. It was the guy from Speed Racer, and they have like those electrical guns. It's like the weird alien that was like an orb of light. Can't remember what it was called. I enjoyed that one, but it's the same guy. He made
Okay.
both of them, and it was actually like a series of books. There's 3 of them, and they were supposed to make all 3 movies, but Wanted did so poorly that they canceled the third one. Like what in Moscow or in Russia, wherever it is, he made these other ones, which is unfortunate. I had to read the book, and I am not a fan of reading books. But, but technically, you can argue that's my 4 and 3. I didn't
Yeah.
really think out the sequels there too much.
Okay.
I
All right. Well, we'll go with my number 4, which is Bahubali 1 and 2.
haven't even heard of that one.
It's a Bollywood movie where this basically a kid shows up in a village after his mother is being like chased down and they're like trying to kill her, but he is like blessed by the gods, as it were. And so he's just like super strong. And he's living in this like lower place where these villagers are being villagers, just living their life. And then he runs into this, I think it's a mask, and that's what starts him in his path of, who is this? And it's like somebody that was being chased that dropped the mask. And so he goes to try and find out what it is, but he kept not being able to get to this higher place because it's just like an impossible task. And of course, eventually he does it. And then it gets into this like he was born to be a leader and he's this like big time general and he's just trying to like be chill and relaxing. So it's like he's thrusted upon all these like high expectations. And it's a great movie. There's a part one, a part two. There's a lot of fighting and battling and like who you really are and all that jazz. And of
Is that
course,
one?
there's singing and dancing. It's a Bollywood movie.
Is that one on Netflix too?
It was. I don't know if it still is.
All right, we'll have to see. I'll have to see if it is. It sounds interesting. I haven't really watched many Bollywood. Looks like maybe I'm behind. Looks like I got to get on board.
Oh yeah, they're fun. Which leads me into my third one,
Yes.
Singham.
How do I spell
This
that one?
is oh man, Singham, maybe. It's a cop movie where Singham is like a kind of like a Andy Griffith type sheriff of a small town, and somebody had to account for their uh, like crime that they committed or a like infraction, and if they didn't show up, then they could be put in jail because they didn't make the appointment. So the guy that's supposed to come and just show up is like this big time city crime boss, and he's sending his goons to go and tell this guy, hey, it's not an issue, here's some money, look the other way, it's not a big deal. And he's like, what? No, get out of here. And he'll just like smack the snot out of them and throw them out of his precinct. and and then he sends like more guys and he beats the snot out of more guys. It's so good. It keeps like leading up into like corruption, and it gets into like he's paying off officials, and officials are summoning him to the big city to like break him down, and he's just doing his job. It's so good.
Funny,
Singham.
as you said something about him just slapping the crap out of somebody. The little trailer that's playing in the background that I'm looking
Yeah.
at, it was just him just beating the crap out of somebody open palm.
Oh yeah, yeah. He has this like tiger attack, and it like growls when he comes and smack him with his hand.
It definitely looks extremely entertaining.
Oh, it's so good. Singham. Bam.
We're gonna
All
star
right,
that on the list.
we're getting into the final here. What is your number two?
All right, so my number two and my number one, I battled back and forth for. I'll explain number one when we get there, but my number two,
Yeah.
very close to number one, is Battle Royale,
Okay.
which is one of the very first foreign movies I think I ever watched. Wish I could remember the story, but I remember somebody kind of. I was talking about a movie. I can't remember what movie, but started kind of talking about the idea behind that movie and a couple other things. And somebody was kind of like, oh, well, here's kind of something that's similar in a very small way of what you're talking about, but it kind of is this whole other thing. And it's basically, I pick it up, it's these kids that something to do with like their school. I think like if you're getting bad grades, they ship you off, and it's basically like Hunger Games before Hunger Games was a thing. Like it's
Right.
part of the reason why I really don't like Hunger Games, because it just feels like a really cheap battle royale ripoff to me.
Yeah.
But they send all these students and basically tell them like there's some new battle royale act that we enforce that you guys all have to kill each other, and the last one left alive is the winner. You get to live. And they give them random things, like this one guy gets like a machete, another guy gets like a trash can lid. Then like I think they even gave one guy like a butter knife. I mean, it gets to be absurd things. And just I remember just watching that movie thinking this was the movie that made me go, wait a minute. People are making movies like this. They got the collars, like if they try to escape, it'll just like they'll blow their heads up, all kinds of different stuff. It was it blew me away so much that I went in search of just any foreign movie I could even get my hands on and go, what is it? What's the story? Does it look interesting? This is basically what started it all for me. And this was a phenomenal movie. I think it's a must watch in general for anyone that likes movies.
I vaguely remember it.
Oh,
So
it's so
I
good.
I think I've seen it, but it's so long ago I can't remember.
It definitely has its slow moments. Like Raid was another one that I really wanted to put on my list. Raid's a great movie, but it definitely has a large chunk of just like come on, move along, but it's still a great movie. This movie, Battle Royale, has a little bit of that maybe. Didn't bother me so much, but I think it might bother some people and might be like, come on, get on with it. But ultimately, I thought it was a really awesome movie. And like I said, it's what started the obsession for me. And I started getting into all these movies I would have never watched.
Very nice. My
What
number
is
2 is Boss.
BOSS?
Yep.
I don't know if I've heard of that one.
Bollywood movie again.
Ah, yep.
And this one starts out, he's a young man, and he his dad like accuses him of murdering another kid. So then he goes and leaves his house because his dad like banishes him, and he goes and becomes a gangster. So then it's like this corrupt cop and this good gangster kind of like clash and battle it out throughout the movie. And it's just an entertaining ride because he's just like so full of himself because he's the boss.
So it definitely looks a little entertaining.
Oh,
Man,
it's very, very
I
entertaining.
I'm really sleeping on these Bollywood movies, man. Where have I
Oh,
been? These things
they
look
were all
phenomenal.
on Netflix too.
Ah, like I even
Yeah.
remember that weird one, what is it called? Robot or something like that.
Yep, yep.
And I saw that and was like, man, that looks crazy. I want to see it, but I don't know. I never watched it. I don't think I could find it. But yeah, I was sleeping on this, man. I'm gonna have to watch some of these.
All right, Friday, here we come. We'll watch some.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we got to watch next first.
Oh yeah, true. True.
Nick Cage. All right, what's your number one?
Number one is Old Boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Have you seen the American remake?
No, but it's with Thanos, right?
Josh Brolin. Yes,
Yeah.
Brolin. Yeah. Um, I'll say right now, don't watch the American remake. The American remake is garbage. Um, they obviously couldn't handle the sick and twisted ending of the original movie, which I will be the first to admit is very hard to deal with.
Uh-huh.
That movie traumatized me. I was like it they like grab this guy, I can't remember what happens, but they like arrest him or they kidnap him and they hold him hostage in a hotel room for like 20 or 30 years. And
Uh-huh.
then they just let him go. And then all these odd events play out. And the end of all these events, there's some reveals, and you're just disgusted. I've never been so shocked by the ending of a movie. And this movie freaking did it, man. I mean, it was one of the most memorable movies I've ever seen because I can't believe they did what they did. And like, if you haven't seen it, be prepared. The ending comes around, you might be upset with me because it's shocking. American
Alrighty.
remake, garbage, garbage. Don't watch it.
Got it. I guess we'll get into my number one. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Another Bollywood. And
Yep,
it's
of course. That's
kind
why I
of
don't know it.
a mix of Ocean's movie, so it's kind of like a heist movie with a revenge underlaying. Well, I guess revenge is almost in like every scene. He's talking about this revenge on this guy. And it's Bollywood, so there's dancing, but this is kind of like over the top dancing because it's like they're doing a heist at a dance competition. So it kind of works. But it's really funny. It has such humor and life to it. The story is awesome. The actors are awesome. The like special little like music numbers are hilarious. There's this guy that goes into seizures when he's stressed out, which kind of plays into like different parts of the movie. It's so good, amazing, fantastic, marvelous.
It definitely looks very, very silly. And
Oh,
again,
it is.
I'm sleeping on these, man. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to write your list down for me, and we're gonna have to find some of these.
All right, I'll take a picture of it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most of these are on Netflix.
Nice. Well, we got to watch them before I cancel Netflix. Never in my life did I think I'd have to watch ads on Netflix.
What?
Yep. I'm getting ads on Netflix now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I'm not paying anymore. My wife doesn't want
Yeah,
to get rid of it, or else I would have got rid of it. But as of
I
right now,
get
we
it.
still have it.
All right, well, let's start watching some of them.
Yeah, we'll knock a few out. I doubt she'll let me get rid of it, but I ain't happy about it, Netflix.
Yeah, come on. We're already
Yeah,
paying for it. Stop charging us more by making us watch ads.
yeah, like come on. I mean,
Come on.
it'd be different if you already, started off that way. But we came to you so we wouldn't have to go through that. That's why we left cable. Don't do it to us.
That's why we left Hulu.
Uh,
No. That's why we left Hulu.
well, I originally left Hulu
Fry,
because of cable, but Hulu
Fry,
did it. Hulu did it as well.
piece of junk. Ugh.
I will give HBO Max credit though, because the only commercials they ever play are their own programming, and they're like 5 or 15 seconds. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
then Amazon's doing that junk too, and they're all starting to. It's annoying.
Yeah, but the problem with Amazon is it specifically said in their Amazon Prime membership that they would never play ads.
Yeah, well,
I think they got sued.
and here we are.
Yeah, they just paid a bunch of money and now they get to play ads.
All right. I have a note here that says you can find us on YouTube and Spotify. And the name is Humans Aren't Real Podcast. Thanks for listening and or watching. Fry,
Yep.
I'll see you next time.
See you then.
All right, bye.